In this video, I'm going to show how to install a drain pan overflow shutoff switch. I bought this one on Amazon for less than $12. Looks pretty easy to install, so we're going to do that. First step, you want to make sure you turn off power. And probably not a bad idea to turn off the power at the breaker as well. So here in the breaker, I can see down here in the map that HVAC is circuits number 2 and 4. I come up here to number 2 and 4. Indeed, it's a 240. I'll turn that off. So the way this works is I'm going to take this cutoff valve here, switch, and this is going to clip onto the side of the drain pan. I'll show you where it's going to go on the drain pan in a minute. And then if water starts to get backed up and it's not going out the drain, the water level will raise this little float up just like that, and that'll complete the circuit. And we're going to hook this up to the wires on the thermostat. They're leading into the unit, and that'll cause the unit then to turn off. So if your AC is not working anymore, then that could mean that the float has been raised up here, and you need to get your drain pan cleared, get that drain line cleared so you can empty that water. So the drain pan on this unit is located right here. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'll take the filters off, and then I'm gonna pull this pan out. I need to take off these little bolts here. I put in screws in there last time, so it's easy to pull out. So let me do that, and then I'll start this up again. Okay, so I got the screws out. So now I just take this guard down. All this does is hold that drain pan snugly in there. Not like it's gonna go anywhere, but it just pushes up against this. So on my unit, you just pull by this hose down here. You can see the drain pan will come out. You can see it right now, it's completely dry. That's not true when the AC is being used, but it's fall here now, so there's no water collecting in there. So the way we're gonna do this is I'm just gonna clamp this onto the side. Pull this out, there we go. So I'm gonna clamp this to the edge here. But you'll see that even when it's pushed all the way down, I don't have enough clearance right there. So I'm going to adjust it. I'm gonna lower this whole float assembly down so that the wires don't get bent up and up against this top part here. So I want this bracket actually to be further up, closer to this end over here. So there's these 2 plastic nuts there. So what I'll do is I'll unscrew one of them. I'm gonna want to raise this maybe 1/2 inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch. Bring it up to there. Loosen the second one so I can pull out the bracket. I'm just gonna put it here and then tighten this nut down on it so it stays secure. I'll do it without putting it on there first. There we go. Yeah, now I'll just tighten those 2 nuts together to hold that bracket. So now you can see that the profile for the top here is level, more level I should say, than the top of the bracket here. All right, took a couple of tries to get the height just the right amount. So right now the bottom of that float, actually the spindles inside of the float is touching the bottom of the pan, which is fine. And the clearance here is really, really tight on this unit. What I did is I pulled this down as far as I could and pulled this up. I was able to get it past there. The wires are still in sync. What's great is that there's clearance above that because there happens to be a little hole here where the filters go on my unit. And so it's got a nice gap there. It's not being, there we go. It's got a nice gap. It's not being pinched anymore. I even took my my ohm meter and tested it real quick to make sure that it was still working. So I just put on a continuity test. When it's in the down position, it's completing the circuit. So then I used the screwdriver here and I pushed up on the float and I can see that it broke the connectivity. So that's how we're gonna wire this up to the thermostat, is that when there's no water in the pan, putting these two wires together completes that circuit, so the thermostat will work. And once the flow goes up, then it breaks this circuit. I think I might have said it backwards previously. So now we just need to hook this up into our thermostat red wire. So to get to the thermostat wires, I need to take this panel here off. Just noticing that all these screws are just finger tight. So I'll take out these 4 screws. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Again, my power's off currently. So with those 4 screws out, I can now take this off. I'm taking it off, so actually I could open up this panel without taking that off, but I can't really see very well in there, so I want to take the whole thing off so that I can examine and see exactly which red wire or yellow wire is going to be the one that goes to the thermostat. Okay, now I can get a nice look in here. Lots of red wires. I'm looking for my thermostat wires, and I know that the thermostat wires, there's 7 of them actually, they're really small. It's this collection right here. Say that this is what leads to my thermostat. I can count all 7 of those wires in there. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take this red wire here, I'm gonna snip it, and I'm going to, wire nut it, I'm not sure yet. The 2 wires that I have to the cutoff. And that'll complete the circuit when the float's down, it'll break the circuit when it's open. So I'm gonna go get those tools that I need. So before I hook up the wires, I started thinking about how I'm gonna run the wire. So I want it to be behind these panels. So I'm gonna take off this panel now. So screw here, here, there, and there, little bolts. I'll take those off next. Okay, I got the panel off. So now looking down in here, I can see all the way down into the drain pan. So I'm gonna do next, so I'm just gonna feed this wire through here, and I'm gonna reach up and pull it up through the top. All right, so I shoved quite a bit of that wire in through there. And now, if I look back here in the pan, I can actually see the wire. So I'm just gonna reach down there and pick it up. Okay, so I used some tongs. I reached down, got the wire, brought it up, bring it up through here. Here are 2 wires, and now I'm just gonna cut the red wire, and I'm going to use a couple of wire nuts to put that in. All right, so there's the red wire. I've stripped it. It's just really small, thin, copper braided. And now I'll put some wire nuts on them. Okay, those 2 are all connected now. Pretty small wire nuts because the wires are pretty tiny, so it's the smallest wire nuts I had. All right, next I'm gonna put all the panels back on, and I'm just gonna have this one opened up before I turn the power back on and I test it. Okay, I got the panels all put back together. I left the drain pan one open because I want to do a test. I turned on the breakers. Again, I can still access the wires there if I needed to. But I put a little piece of tape on there because I don't want to yank on the thermostat wires to pull them out. So I'm going to turn the power on. And now I will run a test. I'll turn on the AC, have it turn on, and then I'll... All right, so far so good. AC is running. Next, maybe go get a tool. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to test it. The AC is now running. So I'm going to pull this out just a little bit. I'm going to raise the float up. And the AC just turned off. So if we ever get water in the pan here, it's automatically going to cut it off. And because I've got this all exposed, I'm not going to miss a chance to throw some vinegar down the drain pan. I usually do this every time I change the filters. I'm not changing this time, but since I've got the access open there, it's a good time to do that. I hope this is helpful.